Hi everybody, so this video is an extension of the video yesterday, which was about emotion and the importance of having passion and joy in the creative process in order to get the right ideas. But what we didn't talk about is love and caring, which is not usually something people talk about in terms of business, because it's seen as kind of weak. But just try getting in between a bear cub and its mother and you will see how weak love really is. But I'm not even talking about that. Love and caring can be a great business driver. And you can see that, a lot of people get into business because they want to take care of their families. And it is that which drives them through the most difficult times, that keeps them in industries that are so far out of their comfort zone that it could just as well be on Mars. And they will keep going and they will actually become successful, although they are not in their own environment, because they want to take care of their family, because they have a mission. And a lot of times people who, on top of that, actually believe in what they're doing, that have a mission, have much more drive, much more energy, and much more creativity in their job than those who really don't care and for whom it's just a vehicle for power and money. So love is really something as an underlying driver that is really important for business. Now, people say that love is something, that makes you easily being attacked, right? Because it's survival of the fittest. And if you love someone, then, that kind of gives people a possibility of attacking you. But you know what? There's always been cooperation before survival of the fittest. I mean, think about it. Your cells in your body, if all these bacteria and all these different types of, functions wouldn't be working together, there would be no body that you could be fighting with in order to survive with the fittest. So there's always cooperation first. And also, if you take a look at what happens in companies and in cultures where it is just about survival of the fittest versus in companies and in cultures where people really love each other and care for each other. When things go wrong, what happens with the bad guys? They fight each other and they shoot each other in the back. What happens to those who really care for each other, who really are a team? They will die for each other. So love is a good thing in business and in things, even in the military, where you really don't think about love all that much because it's really about fighting. Well, nowadays it's about peacekeeping, but, within the military, a lot of times they do think about it as fighting. There's still a huge amount of love there, which makes it just stronger. Now, there is a way that love can be used in a very good way. There's a way that it can be destructive. And that has a lot to do with the circle of caring. And what do I mean with that? The circle of caring is who you include in that love. And in terms of evolution, as well as in terms of personal development, you kind of start small. I mean, everybody starts small. Everybody just cares about themselves initially. Every baby just cares about themselves, right? And then at some point they start caring about their family. And at some point that circle of caring expands even more to the tribe. And then the circle of caring expands even more, maybe to the nation. And then expands even more. And at some point it will expand to the whole of humanity. But every time you exclude somebody in that circle of caring, there is an issue. Because it is quite clear that if you only include yourself in the circle of caring, that there's a bit of a problem there because you're being really selfish, right? If you only include your family but don't care about anybody else's family getting hurt, that is also very obvious to people. Now, nowadays, we do have a lot of people who get back to tribalism, and that has its own issues. But as a species, we have probably arrived at the point where we do care about all humanity. And it's not just about nations anymore. It's not just about races anymore. It's not just about, certain groups anymore. But it is about our species. But we have, as a species, still excluded other species, which is a problem. And every time in our evolution as well, every time there was an issue with space, we were kind of forced to expand the circle of caring, because initially when we were only with our families around and there was plenty of space and there was plenty of food, that wasn't a big problem. problem until we ran out of space, and then we had to group together in tribes in order to be able to defend each other against other tribes, right? Because there was a competition there. But then if there's even less space, if there's competition all the time, you have war all the time, and that is not a lot of fun. And it's also very destructive. So you had to expand the circle of caring and at least, care about the nation, and then have everybody and have rules and regulations and how you live together. And once you had nations, then, you would fight with other nations. But then at some point, people realized, at least in most parts of the world, that that's not a very good idea either. So the circle of caring expanded again to the whole of humanity. And now we are at a point where we really need to expand beyond ourselves. Because at each one of these points, if we had not solved that problem with expanding the circle of caring, we could have been destroyed. I mean, tribes can be destroyed, but the last expansion was the expansion from nationalism practically to caring for the whole world. Well, there were a few stages in between, but I don't really want to go into that right now. But we could have been destroyed in the Cold War, for example. The Cold War could have gone hot. But we decided as a species that we will care about the whole of humanity. And we are at a junction again, where we could get destroyed if we don't wake up. But if we do wake up, it is an evolution of our species. So if we do wake up now and include into the circle of care, not just humanity, but everybody who is living, and not just a few of us, and not just a certain group of us, but as a species, we manage to expand that circle of care again, then our future could be incredibly beautiful, incredibly bright. And there could be so much more addition to our lives. So we are in a very, very exciting time right now, because this is basically another point of evolution in the history of humanity. And we can be a part of it, and we can be a driver of it. How exciting is that? So this is also what the G10 Mastermind is about. And just if you are spiritual, think about the spiritual implications that could have. And I'm not going to go into that any more than that, because this is not really what the G10 Mastermind is about. Spirituality may come in if some people are interested in it, but it's not necessarily what I focus on initially. So it depends on whether people are interested in it or not. But this is an incredibly exciting time, and we are a part of it, and we can make history. And this is what the G10 Mastermind is about. So if you haven't signed up yet, bit.ly/G10 Mastermind, and I see you there. And even if I don't see you there, stay tuned for the next video.